Voila, we're live.
Okay, we're online. Okay, perfect. So, hi everyone. Thank you for being here after a 2 week of stop, but unfortunately the other conveners were not available for their sessions, and hopefully we're going to manage to make up for all the sessions that were missed. And please, if you have problems for the following sessions, just let us know in advance so that we can move maybe a speaker from 1 week to the other. And anyway, so today we have actually a very interesting team which is going to be dealing with complex decision making, online democracy, and harvesting collective wisdom. And today we have 3 conveners: Valerio Dolci, Vanessa Iacoacci, and Valdo Bocotaraj. And well, I think we can start with the first speaker, and since Edvaldo could start maybe, since he's there already, and we can try to see if the slides are going to work. And yeah.
Yes, I'm showing the slides right now.
The floor is yours.
You see the slides right now?
Okay, let's try to put them on the screen.
Yeah. Are there?
No, you still have your camera as output. If you check the upper left side of the Hangouts call, you see a green little screen. You're supposed to be able to change.
So I have output the slides, but how can I put them on the Hangout?
Which program are you using for the slides? Is it the Google?
PowerPoint.
Google Slides or PowerPoint? Okay. Choose the appropriate viewer. I don't know if it's Adobe Reader or
Share this
PowerPoint program.
Do you see it now?
Yeah.
The slides?
Yes. Just put it on full screen.
Can I go on?
Yep.
Okay, so hello everybody. On the topic of the collective intelligence, I would like to make discussion about the influence of the psychology and it's the relation of the collective intelligence with psychology, or specifically with the branch of psychology, the cognitive psychology. Okay, so the discussion I prepared is called collective intelligence and its role in cognitive psychology's topic, the complex decision making. First of all, because before coming to our days, for the importance, the relevance of the
Edvaldo,
yes.
Can't hear you very well. It's really crunchy, and I don't. Earphones with a inside, the microphone inside, because it's really it's not feasible. We can't understand what you say.
Oh.
Sorry.
Now it's different now. Is better?
Try again.
Hello.
No, it's not better. Sorry. Maybe it's the connection. I don't know. Do you have a good internet connection?
Yes, I'm noticed that now. I'm using earphones to be better. I try without.
Yeah, I see. I don't know.
Okay, I'll try without.
Do we want to leave the floor to Vanessa and then start go with you right after, so that you can find a solution for the.
Now, can you hear me?
Sorry?
Can you hear me now?
No. Yeah, we can hear you, but it's really it goes away really often, and it's not pleasurable. I mean, it's.
Understand.
I'm sorry.
we can go with Vanessa in the meantime.
Okay, if you can find another pair of earphones with a better microphone, it would be super cool.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's leave the floor to Vanessa. Here you are.
Okay.
Can
you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you very well.
Okay, perfect. So I will start explaining my main interest was to, and purpose was to show you how maybe we can create a collective intelligence referring to teaching and also referring to research, as I am a student, PhD student of philology. I want to show you some new programs and some projects that are still under works, you know, and I think that these projects can change a lot the way we intend the use of philology. So for the first part, I will talk about two examples regarding teaching that are taking places either in the US, either in Italy. So my question was how to create, I'm sorry, but I'm about to read some lines because I have some kind of terms that I have to use really strictly. So the question was how to create a collective intelligence referring to these fields and how we can help our research. So the first thing is teaching and experiments that are applied and are now used in Trentino Alto Adige, because this region is a kind of autonomous region, so had tried different ways of teaching. One of these experiments was to use and adopt for the high school the LIM, that is a dashboard, la lavagna interattiva multimediale. It's a kind of dashboard on which you can, of course, do your lesson as a teacher, but you can ask to your students to try to work on something that is in theory. It means that they can day by day change what they have done and they can store on the cloud. And this project can help the collaboration and cooperation with other schools, not only in this region, but everywhere they have a LIM. The good thing is that you can help younger students, or you can create projects that can be alive for a lot of years. Like if you start from the first year until the fifth, you can continue, and this project can grow up with you and you can leave something to the others. But the bad thing is that not every high school here in Italy, you know, doesn't has this LIM that is really expensive. So we have to think of a new system that can create a cooperation in all nations. And in this way, we can have a equal, fair, and same level ranking of the school. And we can create also some kind of archive in which we can store new programs, schedule, and create a collective area of engagement, empowerment of teaching in high school that is really hard for the actual situation. On the opposite side, we know that in the United States of America, there are a lot of different, of course, states, yes, but laws regarding teaching in the high school, teaching in the university, and they are trying to do a really interesting experiment that is studied by Professor Vermette and Professor Klein. There are two teachers, one in Niagara University and the other one in middle school, and they are trying to study what is happening in Ontario, because Ontario is one of the most independent states regarding teaching and studying and teaching in high schools. And they have called this method engaging, that stands for, and I'm about to read, that stands for enticing effort by building community and fostering relationships. Then negotiate meeting, grouping for collaboration, active learning and authentic assessment, graphic organizing, and intelligent intervention, and always note making. So what are the main purposes of this new project? Of course, to create something that is shared. It means that your students won't go to school with books or paper books, notebooks. They will go there and they try to share and understand all the differences. They will be able to evaluate themselves and cooperate. And then the step forward they want to do with the study is to try to create always a cloud, like this store on the internet that can be shared and used and can be increased and exploited to let everybody know how teaching with these new methods can be useful. For the other side, and that was for the part of teaching at different levels, like till the high school. On the other hand, regarding collective intelligence and creating a collective intelligence on research, I wanted to highlight some kind of different thing. We have archives, we have media, and we have instruments right now that are really useful. Regarding the sharing, I'm thinking about what was already told during one of these sessions, that was academia or all the other networks that can help people to connect and to share their works or their study. And I think this is really useful if we will apply this to the EADH, that is the European Association for Digital Humanities, because it's what we are talking about, digital humanities and a collective intelligence. So I think that the sharing thing is one of the most important, because as I have on my own experience, it was really hard till these days to contact some teacher or maybe someone that wrote a really interesting paper but left the academic area and doesn't want to share what he has studied. So to contact him and ask him to have his paper, to have his draft, everything. I mean, this kind of development, it's really interesting and useful. And also regarding the instruments, we have really important new thing, like the archives we have, and I'm referring to the OPAC, that is something really useful if you're looking, of course, for a book. And also we have two kind of different instruments. There are I'm thinking about the research you have to do on a text. If you are a philologist, you have to look for the idea the editor wants to present in a poem, in a text, in a book, let's say. But you have to look for the references, or well, everything is beside and in the memory of one author. You can do this using right now some really useful instruments, that is something like Bibit. It's an experiment that is financed by the MUR, and Bibit is something like a platform in which you can have some areas in which you can do the research, putting some words, maximum 10. And if you put these words, you will have the exact reference of a verse used by an author. So you can understand the entourage and everything he has studied. We had two different experiments like this that are not online, and I think that the worst thing of this experiment is that they were genius, but they are totally unuseful right now because they doesn't work online, of course, and they are valid just with Windows 98, that is really ancient, you know, so you cannot use it for your own researches. And I'm referring to Litzenatiel. It was a huge work they have done. They stored something like 100 texts of different authors of different ages and centuries, and they stored it and they invented this program just to let you have the chance to use it to look for references, names, verses, authors. You can do everything if you're able to use it, but unfortunately it's not online. So they did this huge work, but it's not useful right now. After this, and I will want to present you this project on which some people is still working right now. To tell the truth, it is a PhD project that is made by Antonello Fabio Caterino, and its name is Polet 500, that is polemiche letterarie, stands for Polemiche letterarie del 500, in which you can use everything you look for, like a link to something else. I will explain myself better. Polemiche letterarie del 500 is born to store and collect every polemic we have during the Renaissance, because during this period there were a lot of complication, and I'm thinking about the situation of the normative of the poetic language, or also normative of the artistic manners. The Renaissance, of course, ends at the end of the 16th century, so it means that we are at the moment of the Concilio di Trento, and we had a lot of specific normative, let's say, made by the church that regulated everything: verses, words to use, words to not use, text or books you can read, books you cannot read, you cannot have, you cannot say you have read. So it was really hard. And it was hard also to use the perfect verse or the perfect way. In fact, in 1525, Pietro Bembo wrote the Prose della Volgar Lingua, and he said that the way a poet has to express in verses were just like the canzoniere. So everyone that didn't use this way were something like banished from the circoli of the intellectuals. And for this reason, Polet wants to schedule, collect, and store every polemic as take place during these years. Mainly, the most important thing is that even if you're not a student or you're not aware of the literature contest, of the instruments I referred to you right now, you can use it and you can look for a name, and automatically in a few seconds it will pop up everything you are looking for, like if there is a polemic related to this person in which environment grew up. So it's really easy to use, it's really nice. And if you are instead a person that is aware of this system, you can use it to do parallel session in which you can look for everything you need to understand the references to the books or the period of the publication. So I think that this is really interesting because it's open access, of course, and if you're interested, you can submit your work, and Equipe will evaluate if it's valid, and if it is so, you are in Polet 500. That is nice, because there are a lot of people that studied a lot but do not have space to show their works or to help the community. We can use and we can create using this interesting project. Also, I would like to tell that there are some kind of reviews and online journals that are trying to create a new era of digital humanities. And I'm referring to FREE, that is a journal named Filologia delle risorse informatiche, and the motto of this review is born to be useful. So it means that everything you are looking for regarding philology, literature, or research in this field, it's written on this carnet de recherche, and it's just made to be useful in every sense. For example, they had brought, the authors of this carnet de recherche, they have brought the Glotium, that is a glossary of humanistic informatic, in which you can see everything, every word you need to understand or you need to look for, and they give you also the bibliography that is really important. Then I want just to tell something like I read 2 articles regarding this that were written in the early years of this new millennium, and there were a lot of teachers that were concerned about this new digital millennium, because it meant they were asking themselves if all these new media, social network instruments we have would have changed or not the way of doing philology. And they were concerned about the fact that, as for instance, I'm referring to the article of Orlandi and Mordenti that I stressed out in the bibliography I sent. They were really concerned about the fact that our Ministero has to be just like everyone else in Europe. So every student that attended a faculty, and I don't mean just lettere e filosofia, I mean everyone, I don't know, law or physics, chemistry, everything. Every student must be aware of this new instrument. But the authors of the article were saying that they were concerned about the fact that after saying that, after promulgate a law, they didn't do anything. They just left teachers alone without any instrument, without anything at all. So the other thing is that Celentano, Cortesi, and Mastandrea were wondering if this informatica umanistica, because they of course wrote in Italian, so these digital humanities, of course, could be interesting and useful for all the fields that you can apply it, and I refer to archaeology, biblioteconomy, philology, musicology, linguistic, literary study, historical studies, but also they warn you to not forget everything was written, of course, of not abuse of this, but they also say that in order to organize a progress, we need to have projects like this that are open access and for free. So they their wisdom was to create something like huge projects that can involve different universities in Italy, in Europe, and worldwide, and to create cooperation and a real collective intelligence. And this is all the good part. But the bad part is that if you use a lot the instruments I am referring to right now, and I'm referring to BBIT or every researching, everything that look for matches, you have a lot of data and metadata, but of course you have to be really careful, because otherwise you will have a lot of names, references, data, but you cannot understand how deep is the, I don't know, reuse of a sentence or a word or everything it pops out from this. So the risk is that you have a lot of data without meaning, and that's the only one bad thing. But if you are aware of what you're doing and what are your studies, this is a really minor risk you can take, of course. So I will go directly to the conclusion. Of course, this is the new era, and it's really important to create a collective cloud, let's say, in which we can share everything for the research and even for teaching in high school. Okay, but the most important thing is to be aware of what we are doing, and that's it. I was fast, I know.
Thank you very much. Can I ask you a question?
I cannot hear you very well.
Question.
Yes?
List again all the resources that now online to like documents, and I mean you did a long list of things, so if you could just recap maybe the links of the resources.
If you want the resource that is open access and you want to use it for doing research deep down in every text you have to analyze, you can use, of course, BitBit. If you want, I can write down for you what it is.
Yeah, where can I find it?
If you Google it and you write down BitBit, it will pop up because it's for Biblioteca Italiana. If you want, I can link it.
Okay.
Okay, and there's this part really interesting in which you can put word in a string and you will look for, and for something, everything can pop up. You know, you can even play. Okay. I know I'm a sad person, but I'm happy when I do this thing. And the other thing is this main project I was referring to, that is Polet 500, Polemiche letterarie del 500. That's the project I was speaking about. And if you want to have news regarding everything that is happening on digital humanities, you can use free Filologia delle risorse informatiche. That's carnet de recherche.
Thank you very much.
Thank you a lot. I'm sorry, I know I speak really in a fast way with a lot of mistakes. I'm sorry.
Okay. Who's next?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but always with the crunchy sound on the back. I'm sorry about that. Were you able to change the headphones?
Yes, I took another one, but it was the first one, from my opinion.
No, it's not. I mean, I can't say. I mean, I hear that you are speaking, but I can't distinguish all the words. So I don't know.
And without earphones, can you hear me? Without earphones?
Do you have a laptop that you can use to connect and use the speaker inside the laptop?
Yes, it's incorporated.
Yeah, exactly. It should be incorporated in the laptop.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the problem is not the connection, but just the microphone. So if we were able to switch the microphone to a better one, probably we could give you better.
Without earphones. It's okay, better?
Again, please.
It's okay, better now, or again, same?
No, it's the same, unfortunately.
It's not working.
I don't know why.
Or I have to try another one.
It could also be a sound card problem, and in that case, it wouldn't matter which microphone.
Okay, so I have to postpone it maybe with Susanna next week, and in the meantime, I try to solve the problem.
Vabbè, okay. Thank you very much. Sorry about the misunderstanding of the problem, but it wouldn't make any sense to Valerio, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Is that okay if you continue the presentation?
Yeah, it's okay. Just a moment that I will need to open the slides. Let's see.
Edvaldo, I'm really sorry about what happened. We'll catch up next week, okay? If you want.
Yes, but we have to try another day before, so to make a prova.
I couldn't understand.
I'm saying before of Wednesday, we have to try some as well.
Maybe try with another computer if you have it, or I don't know. We can do Valerio, and then
Yes.
if you were able to find a solution in the meantime, we will continue with you.
Okay.
Valerio.
Do you see the slides?
No, we can't see the slide.
Okay.
We just see your desktop.
My desktop. I don't know why I share the screen. Now you see the Hangout, right?
Yeah.
And why the slides? Just a moment. I don't know why it's not working. I have the slide on my desktop, but I cannot show. Before it's working. No. Sorry for that. Save. I cannot. I can only share the Hangout. Why is that? Before it's working, I test it. Come on. Otherwise, I will do without slides, but I would like to.
Try finding the PowerPoint viewer.
As you see, if I share that, if I go here, I cannot. I don't see anything more.
But if you
now you see me.
Yeah, your camera. That's right.
If I share my screen, you see the Hangout.
Yeah, and now if you share your screen like you did right now, and then just open the PowerPoint viewer.
Yeah, it's open. I just opened my PowerPoint on my screen. I have the PowerPoint open. That's strange. But I don't know why it's not working. Just one more moment. Come on. If I share that, you see nothing, right?
Now we see your mouse on the black.
And see anything?
No, it's just black.
Okay, I don't know how to solve the problem. I don't know why it's not working. No, I can only show the Hangout Google here. So maybe without slides. I don't know.
Let's try one last time. If you go into the green icon to the left.
Do you see the Google? No, right? One more time. Okay.
Do you see?
On the left, share application. Oh, if I do that, you see the Google.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can try like this. Just a moment, let's try that. And open. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think that should work.
I can. It's the best I can do.
Yeah, that works.
Okay. And maybe it's faster for use of the links. Let's see. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Tell me when I'm live. Hello?
You're live,
yes.
You can talk.
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Valerio Dolci. I'm doing a PhD in La Sapienza of Rome in accelerator physics. And I work also on ants study for like an hobby and some kind of work in some exhibition or with some professor here in La Sapienza. So today I will talk about collective intelligence, the case of study about the ants, because when everyone think about collective intelligence, the first thing they shall think is about swarm insects and like some individual people, ants or animals will interact with all the other for make the collective intelligence emerge from a lot of individual. In some of reference for this kind of study is the book about ants of Wilson, The Superorganism. Is a really big book and the best one I know about the study on social insects and social in insect society. And the Selfish Gene of Dawkins. This book is not about insects, ants, or other stuff, but it's about how the society and cooperate and how why some kind of animal will be advantageous to be in a group and not like not always be selfish. And this book is a really a good one for know how this work and why this work. Now, going on the ants in particular, I will just do some explanation about the general ants because everyone knows something, but the most we know is wrong. The common fact about ants are wrong. There is a lot more to know. Like they are the 20% of the terrestrial animal biomass. So the weight of all the ants in the world is like the weight of all the human in the world. This is a lot, and the world is more ants than any other animals, or except for us humans. Actually, we know more than 1,100 of species. Is more than 20,000 of species in all the world is estimated, and all we can talk about ants is in general because with so many species, a lot of which are specialized in given task, given environment, is really not good to generalize too much. So we all must know that everything I will say is about the classic ants, the black ants that we can find in the garden, but there is a lot of exception. Like there is, we all know that ants use pheromone to communicate. Well, there is ants that didn't have pheromone. So there is a lot of different casuistics and different kind of animal farm colony and species. So I will show some video because for me a video is a lot more better than a lot of word because seeing that will show a lot. Let's see if it works like I want. Okay, perfect. This is a bridge construction about some weaver ants from South Asia. These ants were live on the leaf, in the big tree, in the canopy. And they find nest in leaves where they use the silk of their larvae to make the nest. Here we can see that the ants are just touching each other, but they cannot go around this place, and they are building a bridge. Each individual will search to cross the bridge and build up. Let's skip a little. They are building the block, go down with gravity. Then finally they can touch each other. Where we arrive here. We will see here. Then they start touching, and when two ants touch each other, they start building the bridge, where all the colony can now go safe from one place to the other. Let's see. Just one ant take all the weight of all the other. Okay, this is collective intelligence. One single ant cannot know where the other are, what the other will do, but in average they build a perfect bridge. Okay. Okay. Then we will see how they build up trails from pheromone, and then I will explain how this works in reality. Let's see. This is this is a nest. In the middle of the circle, there is the exit for a nest for the invasive species in Epithema humile, the Argentine ants, that is a pest in all the world, because it's now all over the world and is making a lot of problem and damage around the world. So this case study, the white point are the ants, the average of the ants for 5 minutes, okay, is a statistic. And this is a real study, so it's a camera on the circle. We will see that they go out from the middle of the circle, and then there is on the circle itself some accumulation of ants, and then they start building trails from random path. They start to converge in a single path that they use to move, and this path is optimized for go around, for moving. Also, it's a really beautiful image. Okay. Other stuff is the ants from a group of ants can behave like a fluid. Let's see, it's a good music. Let's mutilate. So this is only ants. There is nothing else inside. This is a short video, so we will see it all. It's important to know that any ants didn't know where all the other ants are. So they only interact for the first close ants, nothing more. Okay. For the last video is how the single ants, small one, will build a enormous formicarium. These leaf cutter ants, okay, they make calc. They start digging, and then see, this is what they build out. This is chambers where this kind of ants harvest fungi. That's the principal source of food for this kind of ants. So this is all built up without a general plan, but only from single decision of single individual that are really small. It's like less than my mouse on the screen. So these ants will build all this stuff with all this air conditioning, gas control, thermal control, humidity control, everyone from single decision without general plan, without any possibility to know all the nest, all the road, without maps, without anything. This is real collective intelligence. It's like there is a perfect plan in mind, but there is not. We will see an ant here for the dimension. Okay. So how this work? We see that any ant is like a perfect individual with his personality, memory, and knowledge. And the only interact way they have is the environment, local environment, and the single other ants that they find on their path. So in the sample of the trial that they make, this is the nest site where all the ants go out. When the ants go out from the nest, is go principally in random motion, and they left a single pheromone point every step or close to every step. This way, a single ant can follow back the nest, searching for this pheromone spot. When a lot of ants go out the nest, is like building a map of all the site of the environment, and every single ant outside the nest can go and know where is the best path for go back to the nest, following the gradient of the pheromone spot. When an ant spot a food source on the environment, is going back to the nest, leaving a single line of pheromone that's really more complex than what we think, because in the trail there is how much food there is, how much the direction, of course, how much good the food is, what kind of food, and so on. So other ants that go out the nest will find this line of pheromone and go straight to the food source with the right state of mind. They know that they are going to take sugar or insect or meal or protein or other stuff like this. This is on the right side. We see the nest on the left and the sugar source on the right, and the change of the path the ants will make. So the ants find the path on the left for the source of food. Then this path is closed, and all the ants are going to the middle, like optimizing the path. Well, this is all for the slide. I have the time to work, but then I can talk to you a little more. Like, okay, I'm here. So the point is that single ants and single decision maker can work up complex decision. This is used also in our technology, because from the ant, the study of ants is born the ant colony optimization algorithms that you can search online, and this is is the computational point of view for find the best solution in time. So if we need to know the best path from the point in a complex environment, we need to compute a lot of different stuff, different paths, and this can be a really intense computational problem that we cannot have the resource for computing in good time. So if for find the best path we need 1 year, is obviously not good for most of problem, like the reinstallation of the package on internet for the cellular network or so on, because the best path is not always the shortest one, but is the faster one. So if the next node of the network is full, the best path is the longest one when the network is ready to restart the package. This is solved with this kind of algorithm, because every package that go send back signal of the state, and in this way my machine, my computer, my cell phone will always know if the node, the next node is full or not, and it's best to send away other package. So it's not always sent from the short one, but is the faster one. And this is how our internet is working, because otherwise you can think about 100 cell phone in the same node will send package, and no one will go, because the node is not that, and don't have the computational power for all this internet information, this byte and byte of information. And this is about the study. This is solved about study of ants. And also, this kind of algorithm is used for sending satellite on the space, because finding the best path for a satellite to go about gravitational gravitational path for around the planet is a really heavy computing problem. And with this kind of algorithms, we can find the best solution, not the best in absolute, but the best in the time of computing that we use, the computer power that we have and the time average that we use. For the best path, we can need 1 year. In this kind of algorithms, we need 50 seconds maybe. The path then is not the best, so it's not the 10-second path, but the 11, the 12, then it's good. It's good there because it's 1 year less. I don't know if I'm clear about that. Otherwise, tell me. And this study is also now used for social study about human, because we can just think about every human like an individual, an agent, is agent-like simulation, where every agent, every individual only have the information about the closest one. And this is the best way to simulate a complex group of individuals. And no, okay, I'm sorry, but it's close to whole, I can say. Any question, any point?
I think thank you very much, Valerio. I think your presentation was clear. I don't know about ants before your presentation. It was really insightful, really knowledgeable.
I can hear you. I can hear.
Yeah, there is a problem.
Okay.
Now it went away. Okay. If Edvaldo found a solution for his speakers, he didn't. Okay, so unfortunately, Edvaldo, I can't hear what you say, because probably I don't know. We'll sort it out. I can't understand anything. There is a sort of crash back. So
I'm writing down not working.
I can't hear what you say, so if it's okay for you, Edvaldo, I don't know what's happening.
No, it's
down on the back.
Not really good.
I'll try to mute you. Yeah, probably that was you. I don't know why, but okay. So I think that since Edvaldo is not able to speak clearly, we'll skip his presentation for today and we'll do it next week if he agrees. Is that okay for you, Edvaldo? Okay, sorry about this problem. If Pietro is online, he can conclude. 1 second, I'll send him a message. So for today, I think it's all. Thank you very much. Pietro will conclude the session in 1 second. Yeah, I think that for today, it's the last meeting of the European Forum on Collective Intelligence is next week with some like presentation from the previous weeks that we weren't able to that people weren't able to deliver for different reasons. And now, and we'll have also a group talking about matching algorithms. So if if Pietro should be here. Okay, no, Pietro is not here. I don't know why. Probably he's having problems, some issues with. We'll conclude. Thank you very much for the knowledgeable presentation, for your effort. Edvaldo, thank you for your presence. I hope you will be able to be with us next week. And goodbye, everyone. Okay, no, Pietro is here. See you, Pietro. If you want to conclude. No, we can't hear. You have to switch.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me? Hello?
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no. I just wanted to thank you, everyone, for the presentation of today. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. And hopefully we're going to have everyone. And we're going to have another session like this. And thank you very much for being here today with us. Thanks very much.
Goodbye, everyone.